what's happening? Happy Friday. Today is the third day of September and the 65th episode of the Be Your Own Hero show. So, HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. So, there's that. And also, as it relates to this show, this is my journey of my effort to become my own hero. And hopefully, there's something in me talking about my effort to become my own hero that will inspire you to become your own hero, or at least you'll learn something from it. So shout out to New Thought Media Network for giving me the space and opportunity to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. And check me out here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. All right. I think that's all my introductory stuff. So let's get into it. Today is Friday. That means it's Flashback Friday. So recapping everything that we talked about this week, let's do it. So Motivation Monday. If you remember, I was driving. I was coming back from someplace. So I was driving and I was talking about how car features resonate with the universe in a much bigger way to me now than they used to. And I was talking about turn signals, which is something we take for granted, and how the purpose of turn signals is to communicate to other drivers what your intention is. But that was the turn signal of old. The turn signals of new, not only are they to communicate to other drivers what your intentions are, but they are to communicate to your own vehicle what your intentions are. You've got to tell your vehicle that you want to change lanes. Otherwise, the lane departure assist will keep you in your lane as it's supposed to in order to keep you safe. But in order to move lanes, you have to tell it. You got to turn your turn signal on first and say, hey, we're moving lanes. And then it'll allow you to move out of the lane into the lane that you're trying to get into. Much like the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind will keep you fixed in a lane unless you make actual effort and express intention to move into another lane. The subconscious mind is built on habits and the accumulated habits of time, but also specifically of those formative years, those years between 0 and 7. It creates habits based on that. And based on those early habits, it'll keep you in a certain lane. So your ability to get out of that lane is hampered if you don't specifically and directly express an intention to leave that lane and move into another lane. So that's deep for me. I hope it's deep for you too. Anyway, Tip Tuesday, we talked about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and inflation and hyperinflation and the falling value of the dollar, all of which I find very fascinating. I got a few comments from you guys saying that it was helpful, it was good information, so I appreciate that. And yeah, go down the rabbit hole if you want. You will find a ton of information about it. A good place to start is checking out the currency of Zimbabwe, because you'll see that it is possible for a country to completely lose their currency based on hyperinflation, which is based on inflation. So is that going to happen in America? Who knows? But it's interesting to know that the reason cryptocurrency was created was to hedge against this idea, and that this idea is something that has happened historically. So check that out. Go check out Zimbabwe's currency. Also, it's just really fun to see a $1 trillion bill. Like, that's just kind of pretty cool. All right, so that was Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, Workout Wednesday, we talked about the fact that you don't know what you're capable of. You don't know what you're capable of. And I was talking about how it was my intention to run a 10K that morning. And I thought I had, but I didn't. And I was disappointed by that. And then I realized later on that I had run continuously for 1 hour and 9 minutes, which I did not think was possible. And still, even now, just saying it out loud seems crazy to run for more than an hour. But I did it. And now, as I've gone through the app, the Strava app, I see that I've done it before. I've run for more than an hour. At the time, I was thinking about the mileage, not about the time. And so I didn't even realize that I've been running for more than an hour. So anyway, you don't know what you're capable of until you try. So get out there and try something. Try something that you think is beyond your capabilities. Get out there. All right, so that was Workout Wednesday. And on Tally Thursday, I talked about the Hero Charity Run, what has become known as the Hero Charity Run, because it has been many things. As you know, it started off as a birthday challenge. And now it's a hero charity run. And in that hero charity run, I have run more than 240 miles. What? 240 miles plus. That is mind-boggling to me. That is. And so that brings us all the way back to the theme of the show, the title of this show, Be Your Own Hero. That is me being my own hero, because I did not think that that was something that I was capable of. And still, in this moment, it sounds fantastic. It sounds, like make-believe. But I have run over 240 miles. I have been running every single day since the first day of June, my dad's birthday, until now. That's 95 days in a row, running at least a mile a day. So I am still blown away by that. And it is still the central tenet of me being my own hero. That is my bedrock and helps me do other things. So anyway, the point there is that the hero charity run is going well. It's growing. There is an actual website now where you can pledge. You can just go to my website, sekouwrites.com, and there's a link right there on the homepage that will take you to the pledge site. And you can pledge per mile, or you can give a flat donation, or you can get involved. You can spread the word to your social circle. There's a lot of ways to get involved. So that was Tally Thursday. And here we are today. So I want to talk a little bit about the other thing that I mentioned during Tally Thursday, which was me running in the storm. The remnants of Hurricane Ida hit New York Wednesday night, and I was out and about. So I talked about the fact that I got caught out there and how I got home, which was I ran home. Now, what's really interesting to me is that I posted about it on social media, and I talked about it here on the show. And the responses have primarily been unexpected. That's the word that I would use. They've been unexpected based on what I said. And what that calls to mind is this quote that I'm going to put up. We do not see things the way they are. We see things the way we are. My mom has had this quote on a placard my whole life. So I've grown up reading this sign. But as I've said in earlier episodes, sometimes even though you know something, it doesn't really gel until something else really gives it some gravitas in your life. And so even though I've been reading that phrase my whole life, I'm very familiar with it. It really came up for me today and yesterday as I was seeing the responses to my run. So very briefly, that quote comes from the Talmud, which is the text of Jewish divinity, I believe. So it's a text. It's kind of like a Bible. That's where that quote comes from. So just to recap briefly what happened, I was caught out there, and there were limited options in terms of getting home, because as you know, when there's inclement weather, demand for taxis increases dramatically. Also, I didn't have a mask. I lost my mask, and so you're not allowed to do an Uber or a Lyft without a mask. Maybe the driver would have a mask, but that's a crapshoot. So I ran home is the point. And the responses have been like worrisome. My story is a story of triumph over adversity. That is my feeling tone. I chose the most difficult thing to do in that situation. And because I chose the most difficult thing to do, which was run home in a rainstorm, I was rewarded greatly. I got home in 8 minutes. It took me longer than 8 minutes waiting for the train. I waited for the train for almost a half hour, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more than half an hour. And the train never came, and they shut down all the trains. If I had gotten the train, I saw that some of the trains were stuck in the station. So that would have taken even more time. I haven't been able to verify this, but I heard that some trains got stuck in the tunnel, and that the passengers had to exit the train on the train tracks and then climb out of the subway. Now, that sounds crazy. And then the taxis were all full because, as you know, it's much harder to get a taxi when it's inclement weather because demand shoots up. So what I'm saying is my story is that I chose a very difficult thing, the most difficult thing, to run through this torrential downpour home while I'm fully clothed, like in street clothes. That was very challenging. But because I did that, I was able to be home in 8 minutes flat. That is the fastest, that is the best outcome for me to be able to get home and be safe or get to a place where I felt safe. That's the best possible solution. Meanwhile, the responses to my story have been very, oh, I hope you're okay. I hope everything's all right. Like, what are you talking about? What are you what are you reading? So that takes me back to this quote. We do not see things the way they are. We see things the way we are. And so if you're hearing my story of triumph over adversity, of challenging myself, of doing more, of pushing myself, but you're hearing a woe is me story, that's not me. That's your stuff coming up. You got to recognize that that's you. That's you projecting yourself on the situation. And that has happened quite a bit in terms of this story. I even had somebody call me that night. She texted me a couple of times and I didn't notice, and then she called and she asked me if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I was watching a YouTube video about how to invest in the stock market by the Wall Street Trapper. I was chilling. I'd been home. My clothes were hanging up. They were drying. I was good. And so we chatted for a second, and then the next day she saw my post about my triumphant run through the rain. And even though she'd already talked to me, even though she already knew I was fine, she responded to my social media post about, oh, I hope everything's okay. I hope you're all right. Like, what are you talking about? We talked. You spoke to me. I'm fine. Like, everything's good. Like, I got the best possible result by taking matters into my own hand and running home and getting out of all that madness. And so it's really interesting to me that people have been continuing to respond in that way. Like, somebody called what happened to me a misadventure. And I was like, nope, no misadventure here. This was a revelation for me. Like, it helped underscore the idea that you can't wait for circumstances to change. You have to change your circumstances. You have to control what you can control. I can't control the trains. I can't control the taxis. I can't control the fact that I don't have a mask. But what I can do is I can get my behind home as fast as possible by choosing to do the difficult thing of running through the rain fully clothed. And I did it. So that's, I think, really for me, the coalescing of this phrase that I've heard my whole life, seeing it played out in real terms. We do not see things the way they are. We see things the way we are. And we always think that we don't see things that way. We think that we're seeing things the way they are, clearly, concisely. But that's not true. We can't help but bring our stuff to the way we see things. Can't help it. Can't help it. So if you heard, I'm just going to end with this. If you heard my story or you read my story about me running through the hurricane, the storm, and you had any other feeling except triumph over adversity, then examine where that came from. Examine your thoughts about that situation. Because again, we don't see things the way they are. We see things the way we are. All right, so I'm going to do a brief commercial break, and then I'm going to do my Hero Hoodie update. Oh, I called it Hero Hoodies. It's bigger than that now. My Hero Ministry update right after this commercial break. Okay, so really quickly, I got a huge donation yesterday to the Hero Charity Run. My boy hit me up. He's private, so I won't say who he is, but he hit me up like, oh, I made a donation. By the way, let me know when my bracelet is done. So real casual. So I was real casual about it. And then this morning I looked and I was like, what? Biggest donation to date. And it has invigorated me to feel like I can reach this goal. My goal, in case you haven't been watching, is $5,000 total from June 1st to December 31st. $5,000 total and 500 miles total run by me. And yeah, it's looking really, really possible now. It's really just a day later. It's looking really possible. So shout out to you, bro. You know who you are. I appreciate it. And again, the link is on my website. Just go to sekouwrites.com and click the Hero Charity Run. You can see all the options. If you pledge only 5 cents, a nickel a mile, it's only going to cost you $13. I know you got $13. So someone pledged $13 today, and let's just add on. Let's just get this going. Okay. Shout out to Mom. Mom wants to round up. I gave $140 to 7 different nonprofits in phase 3 of the Hero Charity Run. And she wants to round it up to $150 per charity, per nonprofit. So she's going to donate $70, and that'll be an additional $10 for each of those nonprofits to round it up to $150 each. So shout out to Mom for doing that. I appreciate you, and I'm sure the nonprofits appreciate you as well. Okay, so I think that's everything. Is that it? Oh, so I asked yesterday what should be the other 3 nonprofits that I give to round the 7 up to 10. And I got a suggestion, a roundabout suggestion, that maybe the money that's being raised, the $5,000, is not given to the nonprofits directly, but maybe that money is used to buy a whole lot of hero stuff: sweatshirts, hats, neck scarves, t-shirts, like all the hero things, and distribute those things to the nonprofits instead. So let me know what you think about that. Cast your vote. Let me know if you think we should give money to the nonprofits, or if we should give a truckload of items to the various nonprofits for them to distribute to the unhoused. So I think that's it. Shout out to Black Golf Hub again for the Juneteenth polo. I didn't even know Juneteenth had a flag, but there it is right there. Okay, so check me out at the end of Rev Mel's show, Sit with Rev Melissa, which is coming up at 10:30. I'll probably be popping on to say hi at the end. So tune back in for that. And then check me out again on Sunday. I'm the guest host for Living Life in Joy. I've got a celebrity guest. This is my second time interviewing someone on Living Life in Joy. Usually I just pop in and talk about my own stuff. So I'm glad that I'm getting to interview someone again. So check me out Sunday at 10:30 a.m. right here where you're watching me now. I'll be filling in for Rev Melissa for Living Life in Joy. And then you'll see me again here on Monday for the Be Your Own Hero show. All right, so keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero. And remember that now, right now, is better than perfect. Later.